Abundance is the topic of the day. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Healing into Femininity. Let's take a sip of water that is always abundant, that is always rich. So, welcome back. My name is Joanna Fatonji. If you're new here, I'm an expert in subconscious programming and helping women, and especially women of color, to create a life of abundance, a life they absolutely love living through mastering power dynamics, learning how to navigate in society, and position yourself for power, privilege, and progress. So let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about abundance and how to actually create abundance. So, last week, I spoke about that topic too. So, if you want to go back, it's a series of 4 videos where we dive deeper into abundance, what abundance truly is, and how you can create your kind of abundance in this crazy ass world. So, the first thing that we're diving into today, I always like to say that every session here is a masterclass. This is not just for entertainment purposes. You can listen to it, let it wash over you, like just listen to it, absorb it, but you will get the most out of it when you take a piece of paper and a pen and write along, answer the questions. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and it's always about you getting clear on what it is that you truly want and what you can do with this information. Okay. So, abundance is yours by your birthright. This week, we will focus on how to access the abundance that is already yours. You know, you already are abundant because the thing that we're doing here is truly understanding how much value we already carry. So, the first step is writing a vision of abundance. You must have a crystal clear vision, a coherent vision with the life that you want to create. Meaning, what you want is a crystal clear picture, and your heart and your body and your womb has to be in alignment with that vision. So, it has to be a full body experience, right? Your vision is a living document, it's alive. You have to see yourself a living stepping into that vision, and it changes the more you grow, the more you learn, the more you see, the world, the more you surround yourself with the things that you actually love, the more you climb, right? The more it's going to change. You are going to change. So let the vision of abundance change with you. Hold it energetically and emotionally, meaning feel it, right? Feel it. Be a vibrational match with your vision. That means feel it. Feelings are vibrations, thoughts are vibrations, right? So you have to have the dream living inside of you, the dream of your abundant life, whatever that looks like. What do you want to feel like? Right? Probably if you're working, if you're hustling, if you're exhausted, you want to create a life of more leisure, of more time freedom, of more relaxation, where you can go to the gym, maybe sleep longer, where you can get a massage every now and then. You can go swimming, go to the sauna, right? Where you can really take good care of your body. Or also have the time to actually create something. Maybe you also want to be on social media, which I highly suggest, right? You want to be on social media, you want to create your business, whatever it is that you have, your intellectual property, you want to share it with other people, right? So I'm not telling you what to do. I just want to invite you to create a crystal clear vision in your life that feels more like, oh, I love that. I love that. I'm so grateful. Right? Very important. First thing is to create the vision and know that you are coming from that vision. We always start with the end in mind, right? Because awareness is power. Awareness is power. It's not the doing, it's not the hustling, it's not the outperforming, it's not the overperforming, it's not the proving. It's about you understanding that you are already her. And by creation, you're getting better and better. And I have a beautiful story that I'm just going to share. But the next point here is to defy the trance of scarcity or defying gravity, right? Because scarcity is scarcity, right? There's not enough for everybody. A level of um, false a false perception or false impression of not enough resources on this planet amongst people. That's why people are constantly fighting, having wars, but there is enough for everybody. It's a distribution problem, but we can get into that another time. But scarcity is wrong, right? Fear, shame, competition, those are things that are of lower nature, low vibration, but also simply not true. The more higher you get, if you are on a global level, if you are more privileged, you see more, you have the capacity to see the whole world and to see that there's actually enough space for everybody, right? And that we can create other systems and other ways to satisfy people's needs instead of hoarding and competing and fighting for resources, right? But that's not where we are, and I am very well aware of that. So we are not idolizing, but the thing here is you first have to free your mind from this trance because it's not the truth, right? And this course helps you to stay at the right frequency at the top. We always want to be at the top of the pyramid, at the top of awareness. So you master your own state. That is the key. I always like to say change is not a collective thing, it's an individual thing. And I know most people who watch this will not apply it because most people just want to be entertained and they never do how to actually get to the top. But if you really want to get to the top, you can work with me one on one. The link is in the description box down below. But we will also dive deeper into the topic today because the more willing you are to play full out and experiment with this, the better your results will be, the better your results will become. More money, more health, more power, more privilege, more progress in your life. And that is ultimately what everybody wants. The two human desires are always to strive for power and privilege. The pursuit of power and privilege, aka having more resources to create a better life, a better quality of life. Everybody wants that, and you can have that when you're willing to apply those keys here. So, commitment and persistence are the keys. Staying at it again and again, 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 right? Making it your habit. Just continue going. There is no hack to this. It's truly about persistence and commitment to your own pursuit of power and privilege. And if you arrive there, you will continue to go, but this is when you can actually change something on a larger scale. But before we get there, and this is what I said I find so interesting because there is a little story that I want to share with you. And the story is about an economics professor with an unusual assignment, but I don't know if it's that unusual. There was a senior economics course at the university where the professor wanted to do an experiment. The class was split into two groups. Group A was to make one really great pot in the 13-week term with their whole grade based on the quality of the pot. Okay, students in group A were given information on the finest pieces of pottery and how to create that kind of work. And group B was to make as many pots of a certain size as possible, right, in those 13 weeks with their grade based on quantity. What the professor discovered within this experiment was that the finest quality pot always came from the quantity group. Okay, so group A had the assignment to create a quality pot, right? And group B was assigned to create quantity. And at the end, the result was that the group that were focused on creating quantity actually also had the more quality pot. And this isn't just research and thinking about things. It's about producing the results you want. It's get better and it's about getting better and better. It's about getting your hands dirty, and it's also about trial and error, right? And the same thing is with social media. The same thing is about every profession in the capitalistic market space. I always like to say that, right? If you are playing for success, that means you're playing for money, right? And you want to be better. And that's why so many people, especially also on social media, people think they have to be perfect before they step on the scene. But you can only become perfect when you create quantity. So you have to do it, put in the reps, right? It's so easy. It's so easy, but most people never get there because they sabotage themselves by either never starting, don't daring to fail, to put themselves out there to be humiliated or whatever. But this is the way to success. Always has been, always will be. It's about repetition, it's about trying, it's about doing, it's about walking, it's about falling. That's just the way it is. You have to get your hands dirty, Queenie. Okay. Number three is about distinguishing truth from facts. I always say that again and again, but that is what is also very important in terms of awareness. The facts are the stock market, the economy. Yes, we don't deny the facts, but we deny the power of the facts to determine our future. And this is also what Eleanor Roosevelt said: all the water in the world cannot drown me unless it gets inside of me. All the water in the world cannot drown me unless it gets inside of me. That's true. Like, no matter how much chaos is going on in the world, and there is always going to be chaos. Always. The news, war, and all of that, right? But as long as it doesn't come inside of you, it's not gonna, it shouldn't make you drown, right? That's why it's so important to create space for your self expression and to realize that that is ultimately what you want. Yeah. So the truth is, we live in an abundant universe, and you are in a personal economy. Everyone is their own business. As I always like to say, you are your own brand, and you're always in your own economy, and you get to choose your response to any circumstance. Right? It's either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, meaning you either want to fight the system, you either want to flee, you want to run away, put your hand in the sand, or you freeze with fear and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, and you don't keep producing. Mm, or you try to your phone is a level of like manipulation, like playing cute, or but that's not how people will take you seriously. That is how you try to manipulate others, and then others will probably manipulate you too. Okay, so get back into your center, stay aware, stay focused, and keep going. Keep going. Focus on your business, on yourself, on the things that you can influence, which is always your action. No matter what's going on, you can take action. That is the only sure way how to get better and stronger and become more successful. Okay, so this is another story where Theodore Roosevelt would stand on his veranda during World War One and stare at the stars. He'd say, "That's a spiral galaxy in Andromeda. It's as large as our Milky Way. It's one of 100 million galaxies." He'd repeat that over and over until finally he said, "There." Now I've made my problem small enough. And I want to tell you this sometimes also over on Instagram, I like to say, hey, nobody cares about you. And that's true. And for me, that should be liberating, right? As this little story also tried to convey is that we are small. Like if you really look from a bird's eye view, from a global perspective, from a intergalactic perspective, even, you're so small. Nobody first cares about you. You are not that important, and that should free you. Instead of diminishing you, it should free you to for you to understand that I am not like people don't care about me. Nobody thinks about me. Nobody thinks about your flaws. Nobody thinks about the things that you think about, right? If you're only focused on yourself, you will think about all of your flaws, but nobody really cares because most people only care about themselves. And that's why in order for you to get ahead, you have to create value for other people. Yeah. So you will have to care about other people's problems by also understanding yourself. And as I said, understanding that people only have two real motivations, and that's the pursuit for power and the pursuit for privileges, meaning bettering their life circumstances, their health, their relationships, their financial situation, their living conditions. This is what people want. That's it. That's what people want. If you can't add to that, stay out of their business. If you can't add to that, go and do business with them, right? Everything else, nobody thinks about you. The only thing that you think about, if you think about your own flaws and things like that, is such a waste of time. Okay, make the best out of every day and put your best foot forward. That's the only way you can become more successful, more seen, amass privileges, amass power, get leverage on your visibility in capitalism, and do business, right? Good. Okay. Number four, change your perspective. While your paradigm ties to argue for the facts, right? Like the facts are, oh, you're this, you're that, blah 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 blah. You're a woman, you can't do this. This is your past. This is your actual that's your current situation. It doesn't work. It pulls you back to the familiar. It pulls you back to the past. You continue to focus on the past. Okay, but if you now shift your perspective and you focus on your vision, that's why it's so important to have a crystal clear vision of what it is that you want to create. If you focus on the vision, you shape your consciousness and you stabilize a different frequency, and your reality shifts, right? You focus on the vision and you embody the vision. You are her. You are stepping into that new identity. Right? It's like changing this channel on the television. You change the frequency, you change your character, you change your avatar, you change the character that is playing in this game of life. Yeah, and you have to change the frequency you're tuned to in order for the pictures on the screen to change, right? I always like to say that our vision, the old projectors in cinema back then, you had to have the light, right? The light of awareness, your own consciousness. And then you put the vision. The vision is like a script, right? You say, okay, that is the identity that I'm now going to embody, which is a culturally aware identity, meaning understanding the facts of the system, what people think is beautiful. Beautiful women get ahead in this society. That is a truth. There was even a study that women who put on makeup are more likely to get a raise. I mean, come on. It's very superficial, but if you know the game, you just play the game. Do it, right? Don't resist it. Don't rebel against it. Just do it. Okay? Put on some makeup, get pretty, and show up. Good. Okay, so this is the light of awareness, and this is the identity you've created, the script, right? The way she thinks about herself, the way she moves, the way she feels, the way she articulates herself, the way she dressed, the way she put on her makeup, and where and how she shows up in which frame. Good. This is the light. This is the identity. And then this is still the cinema analogy. You have the light, and then the light projects onto the script. And then here it is projected onto the screen of your life, right? The light of awareness, your avatar, your personal script, and then it shines on the screen of your life. And this is how you create your reality. It has to come through you, right? You have to be the projection field of it. And this is how people perceive you, and this is how you're going to create real change. Okay? Good. So the real gift is, as wonderful as it is to get your dream, is who you become in the process, the identity, right? You become a powerful person who knows how to navigate through this world by understanding the system that we live in, which is patriarchy, racism, and capitalism. If you are a woman or a woman of color, you can't change your gender. You can't change your skin color. You could do those things, but that's very extreme. But what you can do is to understand capitalism and play the game of capitalism. So get on stage, present what it is that you can help people with, become visible, become known, let people know what it is that you have to offer, invite them to pay you for what it is that you can help them with. Okay, so this is how you create more and more abundance for yourself. Good. Okay, perfect. So commit to your abundance, right? How committed are you to living a life of power, privilege, progress, abundance, and freedom, right? Anything less than a 10 means you will always be negotiating with yourself and with your old way of thinking, your old paradigm that has the power. Right? You will find 100 ways to not do it because it is going to be uncomfortable. If you are wired for abundance, you are wired to want to have freedom, right? The universe brought you into this experience called life on planet Earth, right? Because you wanted to experience yourself and you wanted to go from a level of, like, what am I doing here? What is actually going on this planet? I don't understand. You want to become abundant. That means you want to fulfill your purpose. You want to broaden your awareness and to actually see that you can become a power player in this reality, right? It's not about you drowning with everyone else at the bottom, right? It's about learning that you can seek greater, freer, fuller, more expanded versions of yourself, right? Through you become greater. I created here something. I want to share it with you. I hope you can see it, but I would love to show you this. Can you see that? Yes. So this here, ooh, I don't know. Okay, so like this and this is the pyramid that we live in, right? This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but also the power structure of the society, right? The few 1% or 10% or 20% up there, and then the 80% down here. Okay, so down here are a lot of people, right? This is the masses. Good. And the masses are stuck. And now I have another triangle. The masses are stuck, and the masses are stuck in constriction. As I just said, people at the bottom think that everything is scarce. There's not enough. Everybody's fighting for their survival, right? Everybody for themselves. I have to pretend that I know everything. I have to pretend that I'm the strongest, right? That's important to know that because people at the bottom will take advantage of you if you display too much kindness. But you have to understand that actually, in order to get to the top, you have to expand because this down here is very tight, and tightness also is trauma, right? Tightness is trauma. For example, if you have a shock, if you have a trauma is a shock to your system, and your system freezes, right? You are afraid, you tense up, and that is a trauma. Yeah, so that is very tight. This is shame, this is lack, this is fear, this is competition. This is scarcity. Down at the bottom, where most of the people are, everyone is very constricted. The higher up you go, the more open you become. That's why it's very free at the top. You're very free and you're very open. You are expanded at the top. And that's very important to understand. You have to heal. You have to heal the constriction and become more open. That is literally like my brand name, Healing into Femininity, right? You open yourself up to take up space, be heard, be seen, share your mind, share your talent, share your gifts, share your knowledge, right? Do it again and again and again because you understand the law of production, productivity, the law of creation, and you don't stay stuck down there traumatized because that's what it is. Like almost everybody at the bottom is traumatized. There are also some people at the top that are traumatized because that's why I say abundance is not a one time thing. You create abundance by opening up, opening up, opening up. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Right here at the top, you are self-aware. You're very self-aware. You're very abundant. That's the overflowing cup, right? You are the overflowing cup. You have so much to share because you have worked your way from being constricted, from fear, doubt, worry, shame. You learn to expand your nervous system up, yeah, like you open it for a greater flow. You open the flow, you open the flow, you get rid of all of the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is here, like from self-esteem to self-actualization. You open yourself up, you open yourself up, you open yourself up, and you create a bigger and bigger perspective and perception on life from the top down. You see how people are suffering and you create all of the solutions in order to climb higher and higher. I hope you understand it, right? At the bottom, people are constricted. At the top, people are open. At the top, people are very open, right? Very open to work with each other, very abundant mindset, very collaborative, courageous, right? They go for it, they learn, they communicate, they are clear, right? And here everything is very muddy, people can't see, it's very crowded, it's very constricted, it's very fear, lack mindset, right? Good. So we want to get here and you have to assume that you're already there to create a higher awareness, a higher vantage point. Good. So it's very important if you want to create more success for yourself that you get out of the victim mindset and that you get out of a mindset of scarcity and lack. Okay. So you have to commit to your abundance very, very much. As I said, anything less than a 10 means that you will always be negotiating with yourself and you will slide down because where you come from has a gravitational pull. It is your comfort zone. It is what you know. It is the habits of the life you have known, right? So you will have to rewire yourself, heal. So you're wired to want to be free. Again, very abundant, open, free, right? You want to be free. And the universe brought you into this, I like to call it hell space, right? Where people are like really fighting for their lives. So you can understand that you're here to seek a greater, freer, fuller, more expanded expression of yourself. Again, you open yourself up to be open, 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 wide. Yeah, your desire for more is the same condition that makes a plant grow, right? A plant wants to grow, a tree wants to grow, you want to grow, right? And maybe you've seen it before. The plant grows in a spiral, right? And the same thing is with us. Our DNA is a spiral and we also want to grow, right? We want to grow up and out like a flower, right? Healing into femininity, healing into blossoming and radiating. Yeah. So life is seeking expression through you. I want to invite you to play full out, to be all in, to write your vision, and to work with me, right? If you really want to do the work deep with support in a design container with a proven, repeatable, reliable system of transformation that has helped hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, including myself, to create the life that they absolutely love living, to be more free, have time freedom, have money freedom, have the skills to form good relationships, allies, to be healthy, right? That is abundance. If you want to live from your vision, I dare you to commit to yourself and to do this work. So if you're ready to do it, come into the school mastermind, come into the school group, into the school community, and get on a call with me, or get on the waiting list to our next group cohort of the Life Mastery Program. Again, if you don't commit 100%, you will always be pulled back. That's a fact. I've seen many people fall back into their baseline. That's why we need to stay consistent and committed about our growth into abundance. So I see you in the group. I see you on the waiting list. I see you on the form to book a call with me. And I see you in the next video. Until then, to an abundant life.